I was just sitting here thinking about how I have really been hard on myself about what type of child I was. And then I'm sitting here thinking, like, why the hell was I so hard on myself? Because nowadays, these kids, like, don't get it twisted. There was nothing healthy about my behavior as a very young child. I was lightweight aggressive. And not like in a volatile way where I was intentionally seeking out to hurt people. I had a target. That target was my sister. And it wasn't always like that because we are only a couple years apart. So when we were at like toddler age, we were inseparable. But because of the negligence of our parents, we were separated at a very young and fragile age, causing her to go to one household and me to go to another. And actually, to be correct, we didn't start off in those homes. When we were taken away from our parents, we were actually placed under the care of another family member, and then we were placed into separate homes. And as you can imagine, for like a 3 and 5 year old, that was pretty rough just within itself. We went from a hostile environment to completely different lifestyles. My sister went to one aunt and uncle's house and was technically the only child because their children were grown. And then I went to another aunt and uncle's house where I was the youngest of two of their own children. Now, with any type of transition like that for a child and our parents not being in the picture, it was a huge adjustment, and there's no telling how long it took for us to actually get like used to that life. I can only speak up on what I observed as a child and what I felt and experienced, but we were also manipulated by negative external forces because everybody had a say so on what our mom and our dad did and what they weren't doing. And of course, as soon as legalities got in the picture, it even brought the families even more further apart. So while my sister was getting accustomed to her new lifestyle, I was as well. And we didn't have a whole lot of bonding time together because the families were just constantly disagreeing on shit. After speaking to my cousins about my childhood, it became a little bit clear on how life was in that house. Never did I imagine how much of an impact it would have made on my cousins with me moving in. I was babied a lot while they were kind of shunned to the side because my aunt felt like that I needed special attention because of the life I had before moving in. And because of conversations, I can assume that my sister somewhat went through the same thing, except she got a lot of one on one time because she was the only, well, the youngest child, kid living in that house. But eventually, my sister ended up moving in with me, which took the attention away from me and put on her. We were so excited to be back in one another's lives. We played all the time, we got along. We really truly missed one another. I would say I was probably about 8 when she came and lived with us. And right away, I noticed a change in the dynamics of how we were treated. She then became the baby and was shown favoritism. And that was probably around the time when my journey of being a black sheep started. I was bullied and picked on and made fun of and left out a lot, not from other kids, but from my own cousins and my brother and their friends. And because my sister was so young and innocent and she was just so adorable, she got a lot of attention. At that point, they were teaching her to treat me the same way. So the older kids would instigate beef between me and my sister with stuff like gambling on fights between her and I on the trampoline, seeing who could beat up who. And if you really think about it, like as an adult, if you like instigate children to do that type of stuff, like they get like almost like a ego boost off of it. Like, yeah. So if my sister was winning at any point in time in a fight that they started, they would like boost her up. Like, yeah, get her. And as you can imagine, my sister would get hyped off of it. I would say that's probably when my bad behavior started. I don't know if maybe I felt like I needed to like pay her back with the same type of treatment, but I would wait until I had her alone, like in our room in the middle of the night where nobody could see because I already knew I'd get in trouble. Like, that's common sense. And if you think about it, it's kind of fucked up because my sister was getting cheered on to beat me up Like, people were gaining like a couple extra dollars and shit because of that. And I was almost sent to a school for bad kids for doing that. But it wasn't looked upon differently what we were doing outside, which was even more fucked up. Like, for years, I have apologized to my sister for that. For years. I have felt so bad. The fact that I treated her that way, because I've always wanted to be a really good big sister to her. And it was her who actually saved me from going to a school for bad kids, because she went and told on me because she had enough. She was, I don't know how many times I did it. I couldn't tell you how long it went on, but it took a few times. I know that. And she went and told on me. And she made me promise I would never do it again. And Lord knows, I did not want to be sent to no home. No school for bad kids. Because, like, oh my God. No wonder I have always carried this sense of guilt with me, because I was told that I was doing something wrong. And although it was wrong, but it's like, damn, I just came from an abusive household. I'm getting bullied. I'm getting picked on. And this is not me playing victim. This is me sitting here saying, like, that was not my fault. None of that was my fucking fault. I was a child. I was not corrected and redirected to have healthier outlets for the way I felt. But my whole point in bringing this up is because I sit here and think about how many kids I've witnessed, like, just for the heck of it. It's like their daily thing. They just fucking beat up on other kids, and it's not a thing. They bite, they pinch. I mean, I've worked in daycares. Have you seen how them kids work? So what I did is minor. Minor. I'm just saying. Today, I release all guilt and resentment and any type of ill feelings that I have felt about that moment, that time of my life, that little girl, that inner child of me who has spent years apologizing for something that I had no control over, because I was not taught properly how to manage my emotions, because I was not taught how to work around my self-esteem issues, because I was not believed whenever I would express that I was being mistreated or bullied or disrespected. I forgive myself. And this isn't to shine a negative light on anybody, but this has made me understand that majority of my teenage years and my adulthood up until just a couple years ago, why I spent so much energy trying to prove myself to my sister. Like, that whole piece of information right there has really it done some damage. It really did. And we're finally at this place to where we're able to connect about our childhood a little bit differently. So we've been able to heal certain aspects of our relationship. But again, that's something I had to understand about myself. And now I get it.